All right. Thanks for joining us for today's 30-minute webinar hosted by Prevention Plus Wellness, LLC. Today's topic is steps for implementing youth alcohol, vaping, marijuana, and I would also add opioid use prevention plus wellness programs. So this session is particularly good if you're implementing any prevention plus wellness programs now or in the future, or if you're interested in knowing how they're implemented. And even for those of you that aren't interested in that, at the end or toward the end of today's session, there will be resources and tools for you. So you'll get plenty of information and resources that I think you'll be able to find, regardless of whether you provide our integrated prevention plus wellness programs. So my name is Dr. Chudley Wirch. I'm president and founder at Prevention Plus Wellness, located here in beautiful, and today, as I look out my window, rainy Jacksonville, Florida. I hope it's nice where you're at, and I hope you're all well and safe. Thanks for joining us. We have a full sold-out session, so there is some interest in this particular topic. At the end of today's session, everyone will receive a certificate. Just have to type your name in it, print out your copy for your records, half an hour CEU, because that's how much time we'll be spending on this. At the end of today's session, we'll open it up for Q&A. So as we go along, if you have a question or comment, if you want to share something, if you don't understand something, any of those and more, if you want to participate, and we highly recommend that you do, find your live chat option on your toolbar. It's probably under the More heading. Click on it, and then you could type it in, and then we'll take your questions and comments as they come in, starting with the first ones first. And so keep that in mind. Anytime you could add your live chat comment or question. So let's see what else. I will be sending everyone a link to this recorded session, and I'll be sending everyone a PDF of the slide deck for today. So that's what we have in store today. Let's take a look at the objectives, and then I'm going to open it up. In fact, maybe let me do that right now. I'm just going to expand the view. This may be a little bit better for those of you to see the slides in their fully expanded view. There we go. Makes it a little bit harder for me because it actually interferes and is covered up by my toolbar and my picture. But nonetheless, these are today's objectives. Actually, the first objective is the second objective, is that one, and I think that's a great color, which is explore PPW programs and training options. We'll start with that. Then if you go to the first one, that will actually be the second objective today, which is describe steps for implementing your youth substance use prevention plus wellness, or PPW program. Third, today we'll be covering a list of tips for providing screening, feedback, and goal setting strategies, which are the three main components in all prevention plus wellness programs. Lastly, we'll be identifying new applications of PPW programs in terms of content, implementation, as well as evaluation approaches, and some free resources for everyone today. So those of you that are new to the whole topic of prevention plus wellness, these are substance use prevention programs that also promote protective wellness behaviors. And that is done within, and for the most part, a single session screening and brief intervention format. Before we launch into any other of the topic, of the content, I should say, let's take a look at a very brief poll. I'm going to launch this poll, just 3 questions, just to get you to think about a couple of things, give me some feedback so that I can highlight some of these things that you're going to be providing, your communication, your comments, your opinions, and maybe we could tailor some of today's training to your interests and your needs. So you're going to have 3 questions coming your way. I believe they're all multiple choice. You can answer more than one for each of these, and you'll need to scroll down to get to all of them. The first question is, what prevention topics are you most interested in? Again, multiple choice, you can answer more than one. Second question is, which prevention plus wellness or PPW programs are you providing or considering providing sometime in the future? You could answer that. And again, multiple choice, you can answer more than one. And thirdly, what types of Prevention Plus Wellness Program online training opportunities are you or your youth interested in, or you and for your youth, for you or your youth? So those are the three options. Let's go ahead and answer those. Just takes a couple of minutes, less than a couple of minutes, actually, just a couple of moments. And so I'm just going to give everyone a minute or two to answer that. And so the more you participate, the more likely I'll be able to address your interest, your needs. So please do take a moment and answer those three very, very brief questions. So, and people are answering very quickly. So we got a lot of participation right now. And we've got over 40% of people responding right now. We'd like to have that be a little bit higher. Our last webinar, 2 days ago, we had almost, I think 85% had participated in the pre-workshop goal. So right now we're over 60%, so very good. So again, if you haven't had a chance yet, if you can, go ahead and answer those three very brief questions, and that way we can tailor today's training to your interest, your needs, and see what you think about these important topics, these questions. And right now we're up to almost we are up to 7 out of 10 of you have responded. Thank you so much for that. Let me just give you just a few more moments in case there's some of you that are coming on a little bit late that want to answer these questions, so we could hear from you, get your opinion, and then we could discuss that as a whole. I'm going to share everybody's responses to these three poll questions in just a moment. So we're almost up to 3 out of 4 of you have responded. Just another couple more seconds. We'll get to that level, 74%. Let's get to 75% and then we'll cut it off. We'll cut it off at that point. 75%, there we go. Thank you very much. Let me end the polling at this point and let me share the results with everyone. So this may take just a moment and for you to see this, but let me go through it with you. And then again, you'll need to scroll down perhaps to see it all. But the first question was, what prevention topics are you most interested in? And for those of you that responded at today's session, the #1 topic is cannabis, is marijuana use. But that's followed fairly closely by e-cigarettes. So those are the two new epidemics. Those are the two widely used substances, but not as widely used as alcohol use. Alcohol continues to be the #1 used substance among youth as well as adults. And so that, I think, looks like that is in 3rd place, followed by opioids and tobacco and some others. So thank you for responding. #1 topic of interest today, marijuana, and then e-cigarettes, and then alcohol. Interestingly enough, we'll be able to discuss all of those and even more. Second question is, which Prevention Plus Wellness programs are you providing or considering providing? And so actually it looks like almost a tie between 3 of them: marijuana prevention plus wellness, followed by sport prevention plus wellness, which is our alcohol evidence-based program, followed by vaping prevention plus wellness. Those are our 3 most popular programs. And then we have other programs as well after that. And a number of you also responded. You're interested in, for example, opioid prevention plus wellness, In Shape PPW for young adults, as well as Sport 2, which is our only multi-session program. It actually has 6 lessons versus all of our other PPW programs are just 1 session. Last question, #3, which is, what types of PPW or Prevention Plus Wellness Program online training opportunities are you and/or your youth interested in? So #1 is youth training and implementing Prevention Plus Wellness programs. I'm sort of surprised by that. And it's very timely because we are going to have next week 1 or 2 free webinars addressing this. So we're going to have some webinars that address how youth can be trained online to implement Prevention Plus Wellness programs, as well as use that content to create social media marketing. So you're most interested in your youth being trained to implement PBW programs, by the way, they could implement those in person and online, live, by video. I think there's a lot of options, and we can cover all of that in training. So I will give everyone an overview of those possibilities for youth training, what we call youth leadership training. And we will have that webinar next week, and most likely we'll have it. I'm looking at my schedule right now. We're either going to have that, we've got an opening on Tuesday or Wednesday. So if you want to make sure you're notified about that training, go to our website, preventionpluswellness.com, put in your email, and you'll get an email blast notifying you about the upcoming training. The other thing, the other training you're interested in is for those of you who are here as professionals, are interested also in the 2-Hour Live Prevention Plus Wellness Program Implementer Training. And of course, webinars and train the trainer. So a lot of training interests, and we will be providing that to you, and we offer the online training. We'll discuss more about the training options later today, in just a moment, actually. All right, so let's first of all take a look at, and so by the way, if you've been through some of our training, some of our webinars, some of this at least initially will be a review for you, that's no problem. But I do want to provide some information for those of you that are new or haven't been with us in a while to get a sense of what's the latest with our programs, starting with the Evidence-Based Sport Prevention Plus Wellness Program. This program has been carefully, rigorously evaluated, the outcomes shown to prevent alcohol, tobacco, and cannabis, as well as increase physical activity among non-using and substance-using youth. Some effects even a year after a single session sport lesson. And that's why it's evidence-based. It's been published findings in scientific referee journals and then placed in evidence-based registries like NREP and Healthy Youth Development, is that the name of it, and a number of others. You can find all the evidence-based registries listed on our website, preventionpluswellness.com. So sport targets alcohol and other drug use, as well as physical activity in sports, healthy breakfast and nutrition, sleep and stress control, single session screening, brief intervention, about 35 to 50 minutes in length, high school, middle school, and elementary school versions. It's implemented with PowerPoint slides. You get an actual physical manual, and in the manual you have protocols or scripts to implement this program to youth individually or in a group. We now have downloadable protocols to provide it online as well, which is critical, I think, to what's going on with the COVID-19. Allows you to keep giving those evidence-based messages to youth, even if you can't do it in person. Sport, like all of our Prevention Plus Wellness programs, are based on the behavior image model, which is a positive image marketing theory. Sport includes optional parent materials, a completely separate intervention if you want, but could reinforce your positive messaging to youth. That is a letter to parents of 4 weekly flyers, which can be mailed out, handed out, emailed, posted on your website. And also, in addition to your physical manual, you get the digital downloads of all your reproducible materials. So you can make copies and you could implement your sport program to countless youth. Dozens, hundreds, thousands. You don't have to purchase anything else. It's a single purchase program. So that's a great cost-effective way to do it, we think, and our providers appreciate it. Our parallel program to sport, which is for youth, remember there's high school, middle school, elementary school versions of sport. The parallel program for young adults is called In Shape Prevention Plus Wellness, evidence-based, proven through research to prevent alcohol, cannabis, drinking, driving, even a year later, increase physical activity, sleep, health-related quality of life among young adults. Is being implemented across the nation on college campuses, in communities, among the military, in the Air Force, whereas sport is being implemented, go back there a second, where sports being implemented in all 50 states of the nation, in just about any setting where youth are found, in school, out of school, after school, boys and girls clubs, YMCAs, juvenile justice, recreation, sports, camps, on and on. So very flexible program. Anyway, In Shape, which is again for young adults, very much same topic as sport, alcohol, tobacco, physical activity, healthy eating, sleep, stress control, single session screening, brief intervention. You get a manual, you get a digital download, and you could provide it to young people one-on-one, in person, or in a group, as well as online. We also have what we call evidence-informed programs. These are spin-offs or adaptations of sport addressing other more, I would say, emerging epidemics among young people. This one, Vaping Prevention Plus Wellness, addresses e-cigarettes. So it's evidence-informed because we haven't evaluated it. That said, it uses a screening and brief intervention practices model with which SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, says is evidence-based practices. So the only difference with vaping is that it targets e-cigarette use prevention, along with physical activity, healthy eating, sleep, stress control. Marijuana PPW, same thing, except the focus is on cannabis use prevention. Other programs, opioid prevention plus wellness, In God's Image, Sport 2, and I have others in question because we may be developing some other programs. Let us know what you'd like to see. We are oftentimes driven, or actually we're always driven by individuals, by organizations that say, hey, we would love to have a prevention plus wellness program addressing blank. So let us know what you need. That gives us motivation to create new programs integrating risk behaviors, whether it be substance use or other risk behaviors, with the promotion of protective wellness habits. Even if that wellness habit is, as in God's image, spiritual practices. We have training opportunities, 3 of them primarily. The first is a 2-hour live program implemented training. A second is a 2-hour live online. By the way, these can be online or on site, but obviously a lot of online going on, a lot of online training going on with COVID. So the second is 2 hours live online training of trainer. That's where we train you to be able to train others, whether those be professionals in your organization, your region, or even youth, to provide prevention plus wellness programs. And in fact, number 3 is we have a youth leadership training where we could train youth online in 1 or 2 hours to implement any of our prevention plus wellness programs. So they could address alcohol prevention plus wellness with sport. They can address e-cigarette use with the vaping PPW program, cannabis use with the marijuana PPW program, opioid use prevention with opioid prevention plus wellness, etc. So we also have recorded webinars, Introduction to Prevention plus Wellness Programs Core Knowledge, 1 hour, and also Prevention plus Wellness Program Online Strategies. There's links. I'll send you this PDF. You can click on the link and it'll take you to those, and they're also listed on our website at preventionpluswellness.com. What are the steps for implementing PPW programs? I'm gonna have to pick up the pace because I'm running a little bit low. I'm sorry, I started a little bit slow, so we will be running a little bit late. I'm just gonna give you the heads up. Remember, don't worry about it. You'll be getting the slide. You'll be getting a recording of this session as well, if you've got to leave in 30 minutes. Number 1, these are steps, pre-implementation steps. Number 1, we highly recommend online or on-site training to become a program implementer. This is critical to really understand how prevention plus wellness programs are unique, the underlying conceptual model, research supporting them, and really how to make the best use of them so you can implement them with the greatest fidelity and, more importantly, maximize effectiveness for your youth. Secondly, after you get some training, and by the way, not everybody gets training. They don't have it in their budget. They think they can implement it on their own. There are directions for implementing it in the program manual. Secondly, you should practice your program script. Because it's scripted, pull it protocol, you practice it aloud, you practice it with a peer, a colleague. You practice the one-on-one script if you're going to implement it to youth individually. You practice the group script if you're going to provide it in a group setting, whether that be live or online. You practice the script so you become familiar with it and comfortable with it. And reading the script and coordinating the PowerPoint slides is what you're practicing. Thirdly, if you need to tailor the program, we can provide you some help with that. We actually cover that in our training, our recorded training and our online training. But we do have some organizations that will do tailoring of their program, particularly switch out images so that the images in the PowerPoint slides are more representative of the youth that they're training and teaching. Also, organizations will co-brand their slides, put their name on it, their logo, their colors, and so on. So if you need help with this, we can do that, as well as other things, even cultural adaptations, language translations. We're here to help you with that, and we can partner with you to help that happen. And lastly, number 4, you make copies of your materials that you're going to need to implement your program. So that could be screening survey, the goal plan. If you're going to use the scannable pre-post test, you're going to make copies of that, and that's all from your digital download. Excuse me. 3 steps for implementation. These are pre-implementation steps. There are 3 steps for implementation. The first is you have a private, semi-private setting. By the way, this is particularly important if you're going to implement it one-on-one, because you're talking about that one youth to them about their health habits. So that should really be private, or at least semi-private. But you provide this intervention in a setting, and you're going to be implementing to them the protocol that implements the scannable. Hang on just a minute. There we go. The scannable pre-test survey. That's optional, but highly recommended, so you can evaluate your program. So what you would do first is you'd implement the scannable pre-test survey, then the selected script, whether it be individual script to one youth or the group script to a group of youth. You'd implement that script, and you'd show the PowerPoint slides. That's the first step. So that's what you're doing first of all. Pre-testing, if you want to measure pre and post that lesson, and then you start the script off. You follow the script. Secondly, after the script, after you provide that feedback, which, by the way, 2 components, screening survey and feedback. After you provide that feedback, the second part is you're going to read the goal plan with the youth, and you're going to help them complete it. They sign it, you co-sign it, you have them take it home to monitor the behaviors on a daily basis. So you have a hard copy, but we also have an optional online. So we have optional online tools, 2 of them. One, the goal plan is online, which is very useful if you're going to present the Prevention Plus Wellness program online. And secondly, we have the pre-post surveys, both in a scannable hard copy form as well as online. All of this is covered more in our training. Thirdly, the third component of implementation is you administer the scannable post-test survey, and then you collect the pre-test and post-test together, put one on top of the other, and then you hold them, you hang on to them, because when you're ready, you can scan the pre-test and post-test for each youth, send them to us, and then we'll run a free analysis for you. A little bit more about that right now in the post-implementation steps. Number 1, for post-implementation, you're going to monitor program quality by completing an instructor survey. This comes with your program materials. This is to assess the quality of your implementation. It's a self-assessment tool for you as the instructor. Secondly, you're going to monitor program efficacy by scanning your completed pre-test and post-test surveys and emailing them to us. And then what we'll do is we'll do a free analysis and send you that free analysis, which is actually called a PPW behaviors report card. So then you could also use a fidelity checklist to make sure you're implementing your program with fidelity. You can follow up with youth and remind them to keep setting weekly goals, but also you could re-implement your Prevention Plus Wellness program every 6 to 12 months. And don't forget, maintain your certification, which is a 3-year certification if you get trained online or on site as a program implementer or trainer. The 3 steps in implementing all Prevention Plus Wellness programs: screening, feedback, and goal setting. You screen youth for their current health habits. That increases awareness about what they're doing for their health and what they're not doing. Secondly, you provide feedback about those health habits. You post and present positive image messages using the script, using the PowerPoint slides, which is designed to cue desired images of themselves in the future, engage in those wellness behaviors. That increases motivation to change. And then step 3, you capitalize on that by walking youth through a goal setting and contracting process where they identify and they pledge to avoid substance use as well as to engage in protective wellness behaviors. That's the 3-step process. So let me show you some tips to enhance that 3-step process. So first of all, to enhance the program implementation, introduction and screening, here's some 6 tips here. Tip number 1 is to introduce the program as a great opportunity to learn new skills and to improve themselves and their future. So in other words, you do want to promote the program. Some organizations will spend a little bit more time getting to know the youth if they have that opportunity before they implement the Prevention Plus Wellness program. But you do want to really hype the program. You do want to say it's a great program, it's a new program, and it's a great opportunity for youth to think about their health habits, to think about their future selves, and to set goals to improve themselves. But it's their choice whether they choose to use it or not. Number 2, provide an introduction with enthusiasm, passion, and good presentation skills, meaning good eye contact, voice fluctuations, everything that you use as a professional to communicate and to present effectively. Thirdly, implement the screening and the feedback and the goal setting in one sitting. Screening and brief interventions are meant to be done in one period. So you don't want to separate those things out because that could influence the effectiveness of your program. Fourthly, you want to follow the script during the pre-post surveys and the screening survey because we highlight and emphasize not putting your name on it, answering honestly, and that will improve the accuracy of that self-reporting, which will increase the accuracy of your pre-post surveys, as well as the screening survey, which is a part of the intervention, about part of them reflecting on their health habits. Fifth, screening survey can be provided by paper or online, as I mentioned earlier. And lastly, the purpose of the screening survey, which is a part of the intervention. So you got 2 surveys. You got the screening survey that's part of the intervention, and you got the pre-post survey, which is only for evaluation purposes. Pre-survey before the lesson, post-survey after the lesson. So the purpose of the screening survey is to increase awareness of substance use and wellness behaviors and to permit customization of feedback when you present or if you present the script one-on-one or provide the program to youth individually. How about some feedback tips? What are some tips to improve the second part of the PPW program, which is the feedback? Number 1, use the self-assessment instructor survey to guide and remind you about best practices. Don't forget to use that. Every instructor should complete that at the end of every lesson that they provide, or at least at the end of every week. Secondly, present your lesson, as we mentioned earlier, with passion and enthusiasm and good communication skills. The purpose of the feedback is to trigger desired positive future images and peer images regarding each of the protective wellness behaviors, which is designed to motivate interest, to set and monitor goals, to increase wellness, and to avoid harmful substance use. So stay to the script as much as you can and limit discussion so you can get that screening, feedback, and goal setting in one period, whether that period be 50 minutes in length, 45 minutes, 1 hour. So you have to sort of balance the discussion and getting through that screening, feedback, and goal setting. What are some tips for the goal setting and contract? Number 1, you want to provide examples of how to set measurable goals, achievable goals, and salient goals with regard to their wellness habits. So those are the 3 components. We discuss that more in training. Secondly, the goal should be achievable within 7 days because it's a 7-day, it's a 1-week goal setting, if not the first 3 days. Thirdly, you want to read the entire goal plan contract with your youth including the final congratulatory statement, which has really good content in it in terms of instructions for how they take the goal plan home, post it, follow it, continue to set goals, as well as motivational communication. Fourth, you want to co-sign the goal. That makes it a contract, which is essential to increasing motivation. Do not forget to co-sign each youth's goal. And lastly, what's the reason of goal setting and contracting? It's to initiate behavior change. Research shows that goal setting is critical, really a very important part to successful screening and brief intervention. And so the goal setting in prevention plus wellness programs is to avoid substance use and to increase protective wellness behaviors. What are some new implementation strategies over the years for prevention plus wellness? Well, PPW programs are now addressing and have been developed to address elementary school children, whereas the original programs were for older adolescents, young adolescents, and young adults. We've developed new content to address emerging epidemics among youth, including our vaping PPW program for addressing e-cigarettes, marijuana prevention plus wellness program, spiritual practices with our In God's Image. And all of these are in addition to our existing programs, which address alcohol, physical activity, nutrition, breakfast, sleep, and stress control. Implementation scripts have been created for implementing not just to youth individually, but in groups and now online. Those are all new adaptations. We have a newer 6-session Sport 2 program because some organization wanted more lessons, more content. We have created a bunch of free web-based content resources for individuals, and I'll show you where that is so everybody has access to that. We have given permission to co-brand and tailor your prevention plus wellness program, particularly the slides, as I had mentioned earlier. Our programs are being implemented not just as universal prevention plus wellness, and not just as universal prevention programs, but also as selective and indicated programs for high-risk youth. And they are being implemented in new settings. Usually, or originally, they started out being implemented in schools. Now they're being implemented by the military, juvenile justice, recreation, peer leaders, all 50 states and abroad. What are some new evaluation strategies that have been developed over time? We now have scannable as well as online pre-post surveys, and this will allow you to assess immediate pre-post effects on your lesson, your PPW lesson. We've shortened the pre-test, post-test because we had youth participants say that the burden was too much, too many questions, too many survey questions. So it's now just a single page pre-test and post-test. Pre-test, post-test surveys measure behavioral intentions and perceived harmfulness, 5 substance use behaviors, 4 healthy behaviors. And these 2 measures, behavioral intentions and perceived harmfulness, are 2 of the most highly predictive measures of future behavior. That's why they're included. Also included are 2 qualitative measures in the post-test, open-ended measures, asking youth participants, what do they like best, what do they like least. This will give you, as a prevention specialist and health specialist, content to promote your program and to improve it over time. Lastly, we provide a complimentary, what's called PPW Behaviors Report Card Analysis if you send us your PDF of your scanned pre-test and post-test survey. Or we can also share with you your online pre-test and post-test survey by sending you a customized link to the pre-test and post-test survey just for your organization. Here are some free resources. Again, you'll be getting a PDF of this document, so you'll be able to click on any of these. We have content on our website, preventionpluswellness.com, on promoting your program, but you can use it even if you're not using Prevention Plus Wellness programs. You might find some good stuff there. Also, program tailoring services, program evaluation services. We've got a PPW screening and brief intervention logic model for those of you that want to look more about the logic model, and that's particularly useful when writing grants. We have a PPW program menu for those of you that want to have that menu survey to get access into schools and other organizations to implement your PPW program. For all of you, regardless of whether you're going to use Prevention Plus Wellness programs or not, item number 6, you'll find very useful. It's Prevention Plus Wellness Youth and Teacher Resources, web-based resources for teachers like yourselves, for parents, as well as youth. All kinds of web resources, all listed for you, and addressing all of the target behaviors in Prevention Plus Wellness programs: physical activity, nutrition, sleep, stress control, goal setting, spirituality, e-cigarettes, and marijuana. Also, lastly, number 7, we have COVID-19 resources to provide your PPW program online. In conclusion, Prevention Plus Wellness programs are available to address alcohol, e-cigarettes, cannabis, opioid use, and other substances while promoting wellness. And we have 2-hour live online training for professionals to become PPW program implementers, trainers, as well as youth to implement PPW programs. We have presented today steps for implementing evidence-based and evidence-informed Prevention Plus Wellness programs. We talked about tips for conducting your screening, feedback, and goal setting, which are the 3 main components of all Prevention Plus Wellness programs. And we've also presented today very quickly new content, implementation, evaluation, applications, and resources. Whew. So anyway, preventionpluswellness.com, that's our website. This is what it looks like at the moment. We have a new electronic catalog that sort of highlights very quickly a listing of all of our most popular programs and training. And you could just click on it and you'll find it there, or you could find it under preventionpluswellness.com under programs. It's called the catalog. And you could click on the second link on the lower right-hand corner and request a sample of any of our programs, a redacted e-sample of any of our programs, or you could request it from our website again. And you could sign up for future free webinars and other resources. You could reach out to us with any questions and comments if you want us to provide webinars for your group, your organization, your conference, virtual, on-site, whatever you need, let us know. preventionpluswellness.com. Our number here in Jacksonville, Florida, 904-472-5022, or you could email us at info@preventionpluswellness.com. All right, my apologies, we ran a little bit long, 7 minutes long. I got started slow, and so I want to stop at this point. I want to open up the live chat and see what kind of questions we might have and comments. So if you want to make a comment, a live chat comment, question, now's the chance to do it. Now's the time to do it. So I'm going to go back and see what we have at this point. So here's one question from Angela saying, are these programs fee paying? Interesting. Sorry, I have to go now. Thanks all. I don't know what fee paying means, especially in particular. The program is, we offer free resources on our website, but the programs, there is a charge to the evidence-based and evidence-informed Prevention Plus Wellness programs and our training. Webinars are free. The online training for program implementers and youth, there is a charge to that. So some things are free. We provide as much as possible for free, and then if cost becomes an issue, let us know. We'll work with you with that, because we've got to, for ourselves, small business, we've got to balance, that. But our mission is to get these materials out to those of you that will use them. So whatever we can do to help do that, we will do it. Thank you for the information. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I'm going to wait just another minute and give everyone an opportunity to see if they want to ask a question, want to make a comment. I will just say, while we're waiting, thank God for all of you, for all you do. Keep up the good work. Don't give up. I know this is a very difficult time for everyone, particularly those of you in the prevention and health field, trying to reach youth, trying to reach young adults, trying to provide this essential evidence-based and evidence-informed messaging and strategies. Don't give up. I know you're challenged with using online platforms. If there's anything we can do to help, we are continuing to create and develop new strategies, new materials, new tools, new programs, new content. If you need something, let us know, request it from us. We'll see what we can do to meet your needs. And, but we want to support you, those of you that are really making a difference in the lives of young people in your regions throughout the country, throughout the world. So anything we can do to support you, let us know. We think we're adding value because we have a very unique perspective on this. In fact, one of our slogans is, if you will, and taglines is, the opposite of substance use isn't non-use, it's wellness. So that's really what we're about. We're about integrating, offering practical integrated programs that address not just substance use, prevention, but also promote protective wellness behaviors. Another way to look at it is we are addressing not just substance use prevention, but also chronic disease risk prevention. So we want youth to have fully healthy lifestyles, physically active, eat well, get sleep, control their stress, even improve their spiritual practices and attitudes, and as well avoid very dangerous substance use and other risk behaviors. Let us know if there's other topics that are of interest to you. All right, let me see if anybody has added anything since that brief discussion. May I share the PDF you provide with a colleague? Share all of it. Please do. That's why we send it to you, not just for yourself, but share the PDF, share the link to the recorded session. Please do share it widely within your region, within your state. We love to have you help us do that to get the word out about the good news of the things we're offering. So thanks for asking that. Thank you very much. Let's see, do you have a specific, by the way, I wanted to give credit for that. That was from Allison asking if you could share your PDF, and yes, Allison. And then there's a question from Monica saying, do you have a specific assessment tool and information on best practices with motivational interviewing? So that's, let me just answer that. So prevention plus wellness programs are like motivational interviewing. They use some of motivational interviewing practices, but they're scripted. So from that perspective, it's not like motivational interviewing, which is an open-ended counseling practice, a counseling approach. Prevention plus wellness is a much more scripted, controlled strategy to use. And because of that, what we do is we do have specific assessments for our prevention plus wellness program. As I sort of alluded to during the training, but let me highlight them again. You have a screening survey that's a part of the strategy, prevention plus wellness strategy, which is part of the intervention, which gets young people to think about their current health habits, not just substance use, but protective wellness behaviors. That's one assessment. Another is the pre-post test, which is for the sake of only evaluating immediate pre-post effects of your prevention plus wellness lesson. Then we have process measures, and the instructor survey is a self-assessment tool to assess the quality of implementing your PPW program. We got a fidelity checklist. We have some other tools as well. So yes, we've got these assessments built in to all of our prevention plus wellness programs, but we're not providing motivational interviewing. I'm sure you could search under the heading of motivational interviewing best practices and find some tools there if you want to do that. I think prevention plus wellness fits well with motivational interviewing, but as hopefully I described, it's separate. It's much more focused than motivational interviewing. So thank you for that question, Monica, and thank you. Here we go. I'm interested in sport too. I work with schools and teach Too Good for Drugs and Too Good for Violence at the Mendez Foundation, which is, by the way, just down the road from here in Jacksonville. I think they're located in Tampa. But it looks like they won't be in the schools in the fall. I'm not sure what we'll be doing at this point. I'm in upstate New York. Because of the fidelity, we probably won't be able to teach through Zoom. I would find that really hard to connect, especially if it was pre-recorded. So I don't know exactly how that, this was from Seth. I don't know really how to respond to that. I will just say that if we just look at most of Prevention Plus Wellness programs, and by the way, in New York, Oasis has identified sport, the one session intervention, as being evidence-based. So you can get support for sport prevention plus wellness in New York State. And it's a single session, and you can provide that again to youth one-on-one in person or in a group, online. We also have protocols to provide it by telephone, which some organizations are doing. And we can also train your youth to provide it to other youth in those, using those channels. The Sport 2 program, which is a beautiful, wonderful program, a lot of extra content, would be a little bit more challenging to provide, especially online, because it's 6 sessions. But you could pick and choose from those 6 sessions which of those you want to present. You don't have to present all 6 of them. 3 of them address different types of physical activity, 2 address different types of nutrition, and 1 address stress control. But they all integrate substance use avoidance with that. So I'm not sure, Seth, if I answered your questions. You've got flexibility, you've got practicality, you've got options, you've got tools, you've got training with the Prevention Plus Wellness programs to provide them this summer or next fall to your youth, and have options regardless of whether you're, whether you're going to do it in person or online and so forth. And also by video is another option. So I think a great question. I'm not sure I answered it. Lots there from Seth. And then we have Eldred saying, thanks again for the information, Sherry. Your proven programs will certainly shape our at-risk youth. Hoping to purchase your resources September school. Okay, that would be great, Eldred. Let me know if you have any questions or if I could help you with training or selecting any of those. Thank you so much. Thank you for your wonderful support, your kind comments. Here's, let's see if there, I also do Teen Intervene, which is motivational guided interview approach. So Seth said that. Yes, Teen Intervene is similar. It's 3 sessions. But here's the difference. I think this is important to look at, the difference between, let's say, SBIRT, screening, brief intervention, referral to treatment, Teen Intervene, most screening and brief interventions. What they do are screening, and this, let's focus on youth, screening youth for high-risk behaviors. Let's say they're drinking too much alcohol, or using drugs, or using tobacco. And then that subgroup would be provided with motivational content. What we do at Prevention Plus Wellness is everybody gets screened to increase awareness of their health and risk habits. And then everybody gets feedback because of the need for addressing not just substance use avoidance, but the fact that most youth are not getting adequate physical activity. They're not eating breakfast and not eating enough healthy foods. They're not getting 8 hours of sleep. They're not controlling daily stress. All of this has been identified by the National Youth Risk Behavior Survey data. So everybody gets the feedback. So it's a universal prevention intervention for all youth. And then everybody sets goals to avoid substance use, as well as increase protective wellness behavior. So for that, that's the main difference between, let's say, a Teen Intervene, which is really screening youth for high-risk alcohol use, whereas ours program, depending on which one, like for example, vaping will screen for vaping use, marijuana use, sport, alcohol use. but it provides feedback to everybody. Everybody gets the feedback, everybody gets the goal setting, because it is a more of a holistic approach. It addresses more than substance use. It addresses these other protective wellness behaviors, which are so important. I hope that was clear. I hope that helped. I think that's the end of it. And so we ran plenty late. I'm going to just give you just another couple of minutes to make sure I'm not missing anything. I see there's one more new message. They keep coming in. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. And so what I'll do is I'll send you a certificate for, we'll round it off for an hour, because we had, if you stayed with us the whole time, here we are, we're on 50 plus minutes. So I'll round it out to 1 hour CEU. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for everything you do. Again, God bless you. Keep up the good work. If we can help in any way, let us know, and have a wonderful, productive, safe afternoon. Thanks, everybody.